There are so many unicorns in India now. Many of them are profitable, many of them are unprofitable, many of them are so new we have never heard of their names before. In August 2021, RBI came out and said that there are 100 unicorns in India. 10 new ones created in 2019, 13 in 2020 in spite of the pandemic, and 3 a month in 2021 so far. Their combined market capitalization is $240 billion. Wow. Now I'm going to tell you what a unicorn is and why there are so many of them. A unicorn is a company that has more than $1 billion in valuation. These unicorns are expected to IPO at $1 billion or above. Right? Now, why are there so many? And why were they rare in the past? The reason we use the word unicorn is because a unicorn by definition is rare. A unicorn is a mythical creature. Take a look at this picture. It is a horse with a single horn that was hard to find. Usually fairy tales go that a unicorn was found at the end of a rainbow. The thing is, in India, we have now seen so many unicorns because of 3 fundamental factors. And in this video, I'm going to run you through those 3 factors. The first one is the fact that a lot of old unicorns went IPO. Now, most of you remember Zomato, and now you've seen Paytm. So these companies going IPO have really set the market on fire. Because see, for a long time, this used to be paper money. Anybody investing in a startup, they knew that they have shares and the shares were worth a lot of money, but it was paper. There was no return. Nobody saw any cash returns. But the minute you had Zomato and Paytm and so on and so forth IPOing, you suddenly saw real returns. Everybody who was doing VC, who was called a fool for a very long time, suddenly were proving to the people that they raised money from that, boss, this is a good investment. हमने आपके लिए पैसा बनाया. And the minute you prove that, whether it be through legitimate means, illegitimate means, whatever it is, the minute you make money for the people you have raised money from, you will get more interest. It's also a function of how VCs invest, right? So VCs have been traditionally investing for the last few years in tech businesses. The reason is software scales very fast. If you invest in a real estate business, it could scale at maybe you could have like 10% growth rates a year. But with software, you can see much higher growth rates, sometimes as big as 10x a year. And that compounds to exceptional numbers very quickly. Now, we've always known this. We've always known that VCs invest in software. But the pandemic accelerated that. The minute the pandemic happened, every other type of business, whether you talk about the retail business, you talk about restaurants, you talk about whatever, all of that shut down or all that slowed to a halt. So where is the only place to put money when all of this slows to a halt? Software businesses. What is the best way to invest in software businesses? Via VCs. The pandemic taught everyone that software is the best place to go and VC is the best medium to do it. And it's not just Indian VC. Venture capital has been flowing in from all over the world. In fact, 184 billion out of that 240 billion is foreign direct investment. Like I said, right, it's about where you allocate capital. If you've allocated capital in 5 different places during the pandemic, let's say you've invested in airlines, you've invested in food, etc., etc. When you see these software valuations and when you see that you investing in airlines has not made you great money, that's when you switch. That's when you say, I am now ready to put money into VC funds. Everyone wants that 10x return. Nobody wants this 5-6%, and even that's dropped. So that is why, because of this crazy amount of capital inflow coming from different people, VCs have gotten huge fund sizes and they need to deploy this huge fund size. And they are competing with each other for deals. So when there is a deal and a VC says, I will give you 4 million, the next guy says, I will give you 5, the third guy says, I'll give you 6. By that time, the first guy has increased his offer to 7. Right? So you have that. And obviously the founder is not okay with crazy amounts of dilution, right? He still wants to give away 10% of his company. So in the beginning, with that 4 million, he would have given away 40% of his company. But because the deal has gone to 7 million now, he's still only willing to give away 10%, which means that the company is now valued at 70 million without any fundamental change in the metrics of the company, right? It's just competition from VCs. That's what happens when you have a small number of VCs, but a lot of capital being pumped through. One of the investors in Bloom, Sajid Pai, actually came up with something called the exhaust fumes model. He said that at least today, with the VC world, when you are investing in a company, the valuation of the company is more of a function of the amount of capital you put into the amount of dilution that the founder is willing to bear. right? So it's less about, is this company really worth $1 billion, or is it company needs 100 million, but they're only willing to dilute 10%, right? It's the exhaust fumes of this calculation, rather than you calculate the valuation first and then go backward and calculate how much dilution does that come up to and how much capital does that come up to. So it is also a function of inflated valuations because of this exhaust fumes model. But because of these multiple factors, venture capital in India is booming, the unicorns are dime a dozen, and we are bound to see many, many more of them. That's it for me. Bye.